Up with a New York pro in literally just a few weeks.
Well, I know there have been a few Jay Cutler sightings in recent weeks, most notably in Boise at last weekend's Boise Fit Expo, put on by the folks over at bodybuilding.com. And Bob, I got to ask, what was your general impression of Jay after spending some time with him out in Boise?
I think Jay is in the best condition I've seen him in the off-season in some years, and it's by design. Jay is a very smart bodybuilder. He knows exactly what he's doing. He makes adjustments. He's been doing a lot of extracurricular work, as most people that have been reading Flex magazine have seen. He's incorporated a lot of different training techniques into his Olympian prep, and a lot of them have nothing to do with weights. I think this is smart. I think it's streamlining him a little bit. He's in much better condition at the same weight. But I have to say, Dan, after seeing the pictures online, I got behind the bandwagon the other day, and the wheels seem to be kind of bending on it. A lot of people seem to be hopping on it these days.
Well, there's no question after what occurred, Bob, at last Olympia. Jay's heard all the critics, and I think in a way he's convinced himself that he's now the underdog, and he's not taking anything for granted. Bob, I think we can agree, as we learned in 2001 and then again in 2006, that Jay can be very dangerous when he plays that role and prepares as an underdog.
Anybody playing the underdog role is going to be hungrier than the champ. And we can kind of go with all kinds of pumping iron, the wolf on top of the hill kind of things after that. But the bottom line is this: it's a lot easier to think you're the one that's got something to prove rather than hang on to the title. I think Ronnie eventually, that caught up with him and anybody who's the champ, Dan. It's difficult to stay on top. It's a lot easier chasing that guy. And I think Jay will be the first one to tell you that when he was chasing Ronnie all those years. Found himself in unfamiliar territory, but let's not read too much into it. It was simply an off night for Jay. He was not 100% at the Olympia. As good as a professional can be, it's still always a work in progress as the body keeps changing, and any seasoned pro will tell you that. It's difficult to keep up with it over the years. A lot of times the same blueprint you've been using all of a sudden doesn't work one day.
No doubt, and it's not going to be easy for Jay this year. It does appear unlikely that Victor Martinez will be ready for the Olympia, and if that's the case, you have to look at who was in last year's Olympia top 5, with Victor and Ronnie both presumably out of the contest. You have to focus, of course, on Dexter Jackson and on Dennis Wolf as the two most capable of knocking off the champ. And in the case of Dexter, Bob, he'll be riding a very nice 3-contest winning streak right into Vegas, and as we'll find out in just a few minutes, Dexter is more confident than he's ever been. And
for good reason. I mean, he's looked better than he always has been. Not that was a knock on what he looked like before, but everybody knows Dexter gets that rap for, well, Dexter's great, but he never changes. Well, you know what? When you're great, you don't really need to do a whole lot of changing. So I wouldn't expect mountains to be moved when it comes to Dexter Jackson. This guy's one of the best bodybuilders in the world, and he's going to obviously